Hi, welcome back to Homestead to Health. Today I'm Caitlin. Hi, welcome back to Homestead to Health. Tis I, Caitlin, and today we'll be meeting the animals. Here's my buck, the one closest to us. He's been with us since we first started. He's got a female in there right now that he's trying to couple with. And here's another one of our breeder females. She should be able to kindle, which means have little baby rabbits. She should kindle here very soon. This is why I got her nesting box in there. But we didn't know their precise age when we got them. Purdy. We got them a few weeks ago. I had a breeder doe before that I got the same time that I got the buck, but after 8 months, she refused, or 6 months? 6 or 8 months, she never bred at all. She refused the male over and over. I tried troubleshooting it. I tried doing anything that I could to facilitate that kind of like romance, but yeah, she wasn't doing anything. But I reached out to my local East Texas gardeners and homesteaders, and I said, I need rabbits, what do you got? And this one person, she was getting out of the rabbit game, and so she contacted me and she says, hey man, I stalked your page a little bit. If you want these rabbits, come get them. And so we ended up 5 rabbits richer, and Purdy likes attention. But so we got our rabbits, and they're doing great. We have 2 right now that are in a mobile tractor, and that's where any future babies will go, along with having to build more tractors. So now we have 2 breeder does and 1 breeder buck, and 2 rabbits sitting in a tractor ready to be butchered, which is a whole story on itself. And here are my goats. This is Unicorn. Hi, Unicorn. She's named because she likes unicorns. And then here's Daphne. She had a baby that came with her named Velma, but we had to trade her for Purdy, who's playing in the burn pile. So Daphne dropped triplets whenever she first came here, and Memphis and Wilbur are 2 of the triplets. The 3rd triplet did not make it, unfortunately. So this was the first pen that we had created. All of it together, including the house, we got off Facebook Marketplace for about $100. And then since then, we've just extended with all of these pallets that my dad got for us from like Tractor Supply and stuff out in the back. But there is where we will find Rizzo, the queen bee, hi Rizzo, and her baby Murdoch, who she dropped here too. So we got them in October 2019, and it is January 2020. So we haven't had them for very long. I'm still really learning about goats. The other day I came out and Rizzo just didn't look good. She seemed off. She's usually pretty, what's the word? She's usually got a lot of grit to her, and I came out and she wasn't eating, she wasn't butting people around like she normally does. And so I had to contact the people that we got them from, and I said, hey, what could this be? You know, they've had all their vaccines and stuff, and they kind of helped me troubleshoot some things, and we got her feeling right again. Hi, Purdy. Something I wanted to comment on though was whenever I first started wanting to homestead, I realized the plethora of information out there, man, and it was overwhelming. I realized that I probably could never get a chicken because there were so many different breeds of chicken. How would I ever pick the right breed? Chickens are funky looking whenever they're like you're looking at them at an anatomy standpoint, and they had all these diseases they could possibly have, and so on and so forth. And so I was like almost stuck, you know? I was stuck with too much information. And it wasn't until I made the observation and the connection that I've had dogs my entire life. And there are so many breeds of dogs, and there's so many things that could go wrong with the dog. Last year, George had a hematoma in her ear from kicking it so hard while she was scratching that it busted and it blew up like a balloon, and we had to go pay for her to have surgery and stuff. And I think back on things like that, and I was like, how could I ever have prepared for that other than experiencing it? I've always been a really good dog owner, and I love George immensely, and so I realized, like, whenever it came to chickens, whenever it came to goats, whenever it came to rabbits and so forth, do your homework. research what it takes to take care of them, and like I guess normal problems that could come up, like normal diseases and things like that kind of run rampant. But other than that, the best teacher is experience. So I just kind of dove in. Moving forward, this is Purdy. She's named because she's so pretty. She's a little bit of a dweeb. When Purdy grows up, Purdy will be our when Purdy grows up, she will be our livestock guardian dog. And we traded Velma, one of our original goats, for her because she was such a good investment. We've had bobcats in this area. We've had something that, whenever I first started keeping chickens, stole 4 chickens like right out the gate. Like he didn't even have to break in. It was crazy. And so we invested in her because I knew that she would invest in us. She's been such a good puppy. This fine looking specimen here would be George. George was my very first baby. I've had her since before I was even married, before I even knew Richard. She's like 10 years old. We don't really know. The vet doesn't really know. She was an adopted puppy, but she's a Weimaraner Lab mix. And she's great, huh, George? You're a good girl. I always catch a lot of flack for having a girl named George, but it's funny to me because it reminds me of that Johnny Cash song, A Boy Named Sue. I named her George because of the whole like, I will feed her and love her and call her George kind of thing from the Looney Tunes. But also I had a pawpaw named George, so it worked out. Right now my chickens are confined. Usually I have them free ranging, but I had to do a bird count today and I think I'm missing a bird. I'm going to go ahead and let them out. I definitely am missing a bird, but that's okay, I guess. It happens. Good morning, ladies. So I guess the reason that I wanted to do a bird count was because I knew that yesterday whenever I came to let the birds out of the chicken run that I had seen one of my chickens running loose already, which probably means that she's decided that she's just going to take up roost in the brush line. Unfortunately, that means that I can't protect her. Hi. Brought all the toilet paper into the living room. Super. Oh no, baby.
I want to picture of all these wipes.
No, I do not want to take a picture of all these wipes. I'm gonna need more coffee. Honestly, that was the easiest mess I've had to clean up in like a week. So, not that messed up about it. Let me make sure I went through everybody. So we had the goats that I introduced. The rabbits are nameless, but you've seen them. And then there were the chickens. I do have one special chicken named Olive, and whenever I say special, I mean a little special. Like, she's so sweet. She lets us handle her and whatnot, but she is always the last to go in the coop because every night she kind of has to like figure it out again. I do not think that she would make it very long without a person. And God bless her soul for it, but she's awesome. But the reason her name is Olive is because she lays olive eggs, or she will lay olive eggs when they all start laying. Whenever they were little, they were in the chicken brooder. I kept them so safe. They were on the porch and I loved them. And we built them this chicken coop out of all this material that we got for free. And I thought it was as secure it was as it could possibly be, like the Fort Knox of chicken coops. I laughed with my husband. Laughed the boy. But yeah, so we learned pretty quick that they were in no way safe enough. So within the matter of like 2 weeks, we lost 4 birds. It would happen overnight. There was no sign of like injury or anything. I mean, we closed that sucker up good. I think what we decided it possibly was a mink, which is basically like a water weasel. Or because apparently the population for minks are pretty high in East Texas, though I've never seen one. Or like a raccoon or a possum or something that could like slink in there, because it was definitely something that would have to know how to climb and that could fit into a space that big. And so yeah, we lost 4 overnight and then we were left with 1. But other than that, whenever I lost those 4 chickens, my husband took me to Outwoods immediately and he said just buy all the chicks. And so I bought like 20 something chicks, and then I went back a couple days later and bought a couple more. And so that's the chicken herd group cluckery that I have now. And they're doing great for me, but I've realized moving forward that I want specific things from a breed, and so I think that I'm going to share the wealth, and I'm going to give some of the chickens to my dad in the springtime whenever he has a chicken coop set up, and I'm going to be replacing them with meat birds that we intend to put in the freezer, and for a couple of new egging birds that we really want, I think I want to stick with heritage birds. I'm leaning massively towards Wyandottes, which are an American breed of chicken, but who knows? That's something I have to research later. Our next big project here on the homestead, or on our little backyard farm, what have you, is to butcher the rabbits, and the rabbits that are in the tractor, and to enclose the chicken coop. So. For breakfast, I'm having a breakfast salad with a fried egg, bacon bits, cilantro, lettuce, and chayote. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you really enjoyed walking around the property and getting to meet some of my animals and knowing the stories behind them. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm going to take this bad boy and I'm going to go sit down with my kids and enjoy breakfast. See y'all later.